Hi guys, this is Yanis from SKAN Heating. This is my first live, so please accept my apologies in case if we don't have the perfect quality, but I promise you we'll try to become better every day. Right, now, just I would like to ask you, first of all, if somebody can confirm if you can listen me, if everything is all right. There's the video. If everything looks okay, then we can start. It's a little bit dark. I will try to turn some lights on. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit better. And yes, I'm very excited to be honest with you guys because it's my first live. It's not going to be a while. I will keep it as quick as possible. We will have two sections. One is the customer section and the other one is technical questions for engineers. The other thing I would like to share with you is that the Q&A we're going to do today is going to be 5 questions from homeowners, and I will start with the first questions. How often should I service my boiler? Yes, first of all, we have to confirm that if you rent a property to someone else, or if you rent the property from someone else, it's not only the boiler service which is has to be done, is the full CP12, which we call gas safety checks. These gas safety checks, it's more than the annual boiler service. We have to come across and check if we have, for example, carbon monoxide alarms wherever we have near gas boiler, gas fire, or gas hob. If we have smoke alarms in the correct places and restaurants. Also, we have to make sure if the tightness test is comply with the standards. The other thing we have to make sure it's as many appliances we have to confirm the safety of every single appliance. And if there is any problem with the appliance, we have to isolate it and confirm unsafe situation. Of course, we don't do boiler service because it's necessary by the law when we rent the property. The most important is for our safety. Our safety is also extremely important, and things can be wrong, especially as we're getting older. So that's not only for the gas boiler. Also, we can do that with the oil boilers as well, with the LPG boilers as well. And if we leave the boilers outside of the game, we have to do even for the unvented hot water cylinders. Unvented hot water cylinders is also a regulated job, and we have to do this one as well. Let's go to the next question. How do I know if my boiler needs replacing? Yes, that's another very common question which I receive on a daily basis. The red flags is for, of course, if the boiler works, is the age of the boiler. If you have a boiler which is 20 years old or more, trust me, of course, I don't think it's going to be safe. The other thing is, regardless of the safety, is the consumption. For example, how much energy that you use in order to run, and the environmental impact. It's impossible to be condensing as well. And yes, after 20 years, I think is a red flag. Of course, I came across boilers more than 20 years, but I came across when the boiler stopped working at all. It's quite funny, but the old boilers, because they don't have the complicated electronic system, PCBs and stuff like that, they tend to last more because they don't have many things to go wrong. But the new boilers getting easily very wrong. The new boilers, of course, come with a manufacturer's guarantee with 10 years, 12 years, sometimes depends which boiler and what engineer you're going to use. So the other thing is that Even if you have a very old boiler, unless it's commercial, you have to be fully aware that the old appliances that are not economical at all to run it. So that's another thing you have to take into account. And I will give you an example because I say every day. Let's say that you want to invest in a boiler. At the moment you pay, for example, £250, let's say, on your bills. 30% of your bills is going to go down because the new boiler is going to be much more efficient, much more economical. So minimum in the next 7 to 10 years, under warranty, the boiler is going to make more than half money back to you because you're going to replace that. Plus, we help a little bit the environment. Next one. Why does my boiler pressure keeps dropping? Yes, here we have to speak a little bit for the room seal boilers, no the gravity-fed boilers. The boilers with the room seals, they have an expansion vessel. This expansion vessel sometimes faulty and needs replacing. If the expansion vessel is not working very well, unfortunately the PRV start to open and let by. Because the water in the system is very dirty, has sludge, has rubbish inside. This one, unfortunately, does not allow the PRV to seal properly. That's why when we do the boiler service, actually, we have to be extra careful how to operate those valves and make sure, if we can avoid to touch it, just don't touch it. And in this case, if it's just the problem for the expansion vessel, we're gonna see as soon as the boiler turns on and getting hot, the water pressure goes up to 4 bars straight away. Should be another problem. For example, if there is any slightly, gently small leaking somewhere, that's gonna happen not instantly getting hot. As soon as you run it during the week, regardless if it's hot or not, running or not, you're gonna need to top up the system. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's not always visible, the leaking, and that's the pain actually. Then we have to try to find out where is the problem. Third question, or fourth question. What is the inhibitor and do I really need it? That is getting extremely like a joke now in those days. Yes, the inhibitor is absolutely important, absolutely important. In the system, every system has the similar metals. We have copper pipes, we have aluminum pipes, we have steel, iron, everything. And the water circulated, and the water has conductivity and circulate, and the boiler and the metals in the boiler start fighting each other. And this one start to create corrosion, and this corrosion creates the sludge. And this sludge circulate in the system, and that makes the circulation very difficult. Reduce the life, of course, pump from the system, from the boiler, for the central heating in general, and we end up to be less efficient. So the simplest answer is yes, and we have to check in every single boiler service, and every 5 years it's good to add or to refresh the existing inhibitor. Question 5, an air source heating pump better than a gas boiler? Oh my god, also very, very, very interesting question. Yes, the air source heating pump, it's a extremely efficient heating system, but there are plus and minus. In this case, the air source heating pump, if going to the new building, to the new estate, with the new insulation regulations, yes, it's very important to fit it, because we have the perfect condition and the perfect situation for a boiler, for an air source heating pump with a 55 degrees outlet to keep that temperature into the house and make the house livable. In the old houses, more than 50, 60 years old, unfortunately, the energy classification is about C, D, sometimes E. What's happened is we have massive losses, and 55 degrees on the radiators does not really help. Bear in mind that if we fit an air source heating pump, we have to make sure we have enough space for the boiler room, because we need a cylinder. We need a huge cylinder. It's not just a little unit outside. And of course, we have to make sure we have the necessary space outside and the necessary clearance. Don't get me wrong, air source heating pump costs a lot of money. And yes, the government can give some grants, but doesn't mean that grants can cover the whole thing, cover part of this thing. In other words, old houses, please don't think about air source heating pump. New houses, yes, more than happy. Just make sure you have enough space for the boiler room. Next one. Yes, gas boiler is the only solution on the old houses. Nothing else. Next thing now. I will like to answer to my engineers now, but if you are homeowners as well and you want to stay on the live, please feel free to do it. What's the most common case of no heating but hot water okay? Yes, that's one of the biggest issue in this case is the valve diverter. 9 to 10 times we have to stack valves. A valve could be stuck for a lot of reasons. The major issue is the age. As we're getting older, things getting wrong, things getting stiff, things getting seized up. And yes, that's the most common thing. In this case, sometimes the head actuator on top getting damaged, but not actually the body. For my opinion, when you replace the valve diverter, it's better to replace the body, because after 1 year or 2 years or less than a year, sometimes the customer asks you back and tells you, I still have the same problem. Please, can you come back to help me? And that's happened with some cases. So for me, you have to replace the body at the same time as well. 7 question. How do you start fault finding efficiently? Yes. On the new boilers and the old boilers, we have 2 things to check. One is the electrical part, and another one is the mechanical part. The first thing we have to do is just to check the electrical part first. First of all, we have to make sure we have power into the cable. We don't have any problem with the fuse spur. We have neutral into the system, because sometimes we check only with the live with a little tester and we don't have neutral. When we confirm the polarity and we have power, then we have to start the checks as we discuss on other videos, but I will quickly let you know now. First of all, we have to make sure we have demand, hot water or heating, and then we have to make sure we have the necessary readings for the water pressure. Then if we have the necessary readings for the water pressure, we have to make sure we hear the circulation pump. Then we have to make sure that we hear the fan. And if we have all that sequence and everything works or not works, and then go deeper to each section and to investigate and see what's happened. The same thing happened with the oil boiler. Again, we have to make sure we have demand, we have power. When we confirm that, then we open the burner, because that's the majority of the problems. And we check, for example, if we have any problem with the PCB or the photocell, it works, the motor, if it works, because the first thing will happen is the motor start to run in order to clear the chamber. Then we have sparks, then we have release the oil, and then we have fire. And then if we have fire, all good. If we're not, then the photocell has to send a signal that is not something is not fire up, please switch it off. That's the thing. So first electrically, then mechanically. Yes, the fault finding need a little bit of electrical skills, and you, as a gas engineer, you have to dedicate time for that. I know it's not easy, but we have to do as engineers that. Third question for engineers, number 8, when should you measure the CO and CO2 ratio, and what's the safe values? Very general. If we're talking about the gas industry, on the gas world, we have to be on the allowance limits on the manufacturers. But let's leave the manufacturers on the side. If you see something below 0.004, you're fine. If not, then we have to go for investigation. What's going to be wrong? A lot of things. The main things, restrictions on the flow or gas valve. But bear in mind, sometimes could be the gas meter. On the oil industry is slightly different. We don't pay attention to CO versus CO2. We pay attention to CO2 only, and has to be around 12. If it's not about 12, then something is really wrong, and we have to make sure we fix it. That. What else now? Let's go to how do you explain boiling cattle noise to a customer? Yes, that's another issue we come across as SKAN Heating as well, the majority of the times, because the customer complained that the boiler shut down for overheating. The first engineer goes there, says all good, I don't find any problem. The second engineer the same, and then at some point they come across to us and say, SKAN, I know that you are a heating engineer only. I know you are not a plumber. I know that you have a really professional opinion. Can you please explain to us why we have this cattle noise? Two main issues. Restrictions is the main issue, and we have to find out why we have this poor circulation and that restrictions. The thing is because could be the circulation pump not working very well, but I think another 50% of the cases is the boiler is very old and inside is full of crap, full of sludge, and cannot circulate quickly the water, and that's why the system's stuck and I cannot push the water, and you hear that noise like something cuttling inside because of the lack of the circulation, the water getting steam, and that's why we hear that noise like cuttling. Last question, and I promise you with this one we're gonna close the first live because I didn't want to do more than 20 minutes, half an hour. So I think we are on time, and let's go. What's the what separates a real fault finder from the part changer? Yes, good question. Don't get me wrong, we all come across to this situation. We have to take the risks to replace some parts when we are in the gray zones. Yes, the real engineers, they want to spend time on the boiler and try to make sure electrically we are fully aware of the problems. We have to be 100% sure that all the sequence of events that are in place, and we check step by step. And then when we, for example, the fan is not working, first of all, we have to check if we receive power on the fan. Or if the gas valve is not working, we have to make sure we receive power on the gas valve. If you start now to replace PCB board without to check if you send the necessary power, yes, then you become part changer, nothing else. So guys, thank you very much indeed. I will leave you now. We are nearly 20 minutes, and I look forward for the next live. Thank you. Bye-bye.